Welcome. We are live. Regalwood Rasslin. Episode 6 is live on the air. We are live right now on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. There's two of me. There's two of me. That's too many of me's.
Regalwood Rasslin.
Hold on.
Episode 6
There's too many of me's.
live on the air. We are live right now on YouTube.
Yeah, there's too many of me's. There can never be that many of me's.
There's two of me.
There's too many. That's too many of me's.
Regalwood Rasslin.
There's too many me's.
Episode
There's too
6
many of
is
me's.
live on the air.
There it is. I found it because we wouldn't have a show without technical difficulties. That's the motto. That's one of the many mottos we have here at Regalwood Rasslin. It wouldn't be a show without technical difficulties. And by George, we hit our stride running today as usual. We're live right now. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. I'm your most humble host. Probably the most humble person on the planet, as we all know. I am the overlord of the wasteland, the engineer combat, the big boss with the hot sauce, and the star of this By George show, Ricky Regal. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're live again on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Rumble, and Kick. YouTube is the hub of all things Regal. If you want to know anything about my past, present, or future, go over there to the YouTube channel. That is WRESTLERAIDO, Wrestle Radio 860 on YouTube. Lots of old shows there, lots of interviews, lots of when I used to have a real, honest to gosh, over the airwaves radio program back some years ago. All that stuff's hosted right there on the YouTube channel, as well as some interviews with some legendary professional wrestlers and some actual shows that I was a part of and wrestled on, and hopefully didn't stink up the joint too bad. But that's all the stuff that's on the YouTube channel. We're also on Twitch, Regalwood6969. Facebook, we're live right now. Welcome, Facebook folks. Ricky Regal. And Rumble and Kick, of course, are Regalwood. If you find this guy right here, the in-shape bulldog, I used to look like that, by the way. Actually, I think I was a little bigger than him. But he's there. He's doing the thing. The bulldog. If you find him, you're in the right spot. So welcome to the program. Big guest today, Ricky Chastain. Those of you who were around for the Christmas for Kids stuff, he is the architect of Christmas for Kids, and I'm going to get him to tell you all about how that became a thing, where we started with that and where we ended up, and if there's a chance for a reunion at some point down the road. Stand by for that. That's all coming up later with my very special guest, Ricky Chastain. Also on deck today, we have the lovely and talented Lace, who will be dropping in with her ringside report. I think she went down to a Keller show over this last week, and she's going to pop in here in just a minute and do her report. Tell us about how things are going down in Kellerland, and how that thing went off. Of course, this week was WrestleMania week. Last week, of course, was WrestleMania week, and two big nights, over 100,000 in attendance. Some good stuff, some bad stuff. We'll look at a little bit of that later on in the show. Not going to do a full review because, look, it's been a week. You've all seen it. You all know what happened. No point in me rehashing it with my opinions because, doesn't matter, right? But we're going to look at it. We're going to run down the card and a couple of things that were interesting to me, at least, about the big two-night event. And then we'll end up the day, of course, as always, with the most ridiculous item of the week. All that's coming up today on a action-packed, jam-packed Regalwood Rasslin episode 6 right here for you to enjoy. All right, starting out the program, we 10 bells salute to Van Hammer. We lost Van Hammer this week. If you don't know Van Hammer, he was in the 90, I think he debuted in 91 as Heavy Metal Van Hammer. He was in WCW there, and then I think he was around active 95 to 2000 he was in Raven's Flock. He was in Misfits in Action. He was a Navy veteran, actually, and he was actually, I didn't know this, was trained by Boris Malenko and Dan Spivey. So I think he retired in 2009, and he passed away just this past week. So 10 bells to Van Hammer. If you're not familiar with Van Hammer, you can look him up and check out some of his stuff. Big, just jacked up guy, and he would sling his guitar around give it that big sling around his neck and do the hair banging thing. Wasn't one of my favorites in the ring, but from everything I've heard, it's just an all-around classy and good guy. So we hate that we lose anybody, and of course we hate that we lost another one this week in Van Hammer. All right, let's go ahead and get Lace in here and make sure that she's up and good to go for her big old report. Yeah. All right, let's do that. Welcome to the program, the lovely and talented Lace. Hey there, Lace.
Hey.
Oh, that's my bad. Sorry, try that again. Hey there, Lace.
Hey, can you hear me?
I got you. That was on my end. I produce this thing. I have a production team, and I'm gonna fire every one of them because every week there's some kind of technical difficulties. It's not my fault. Not going to take the blame for that.
It's not your fault.
No, it is absolutely not my fault. It is the fault of this faulty production team that I've hired and subsequently will be firing. But anyway, be that as it is, Lace, welcome to the show. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you doing your weekly or your ringside report there. And you went down to Kellerland this week, from what I understand. Tell me about it. What happened?
I had a great time. Great time. Yeah, I mean, how can you not have a good time at WrestleForce? Bob Keller makes you laugh no matter what.
Yeah. Bob is definitely a character. Well, I understand those are outside shows down there. Am I right about that?
They are. They're outside at Polly Wong's, and it was their 15th anniversary celebration. So it's $5.
Oh, wow.
It's so affordable.
Yeah.
And it was nice weather, a little chilly as it went on, but perfect.
Where is that on a? Where is that exactly? Because I'm not sure where this Polly Wong.
Columbia.
I said Columbia. Okay. Is it like at a restaurant, bar? What's the atmosphere?
It's like a bar, more of a bar with some additional seating. Like I got a hamburger there afterwards.
So run the card down. Who all do you have on matches?
Well, you know me, I have the attention span of a tsetse fly.
That's why I gave you this segment.
The crowd was so into it and standing up. I kind of sat back at the back, out of the way, and it was just amazing. Off top of my head, you had Zuka King, Christopher Prince, Chris Vallow, D'Angelo, the Hillbillies. Oh my God, they were great. So much heat between the wrestlers and the fans. In fact, a fan that was at Saturday night's show in Greenville for 3 Count was at that show in Columbia. And he was just as fired up, lighting up them wrestlers. It's just enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, and Bobby always does put on a good production. I like his setup. I like the way he does his all very very professionally ran, and I always was proud of Bob for that. I was hoping I'd get him on the show, and actually I've extended the invitation a couple times. I know he's busy. He's always doing something. He even ran a Comic-Con style event down in Columbia a couple of months ago. I actually went to. I didn't know it was his event, right? And I rolled up down there, and we passed each other going in the door. And I was like, Bob. And he's like, hey, man. And we got to talking. And I was like, and he said, yeah, this is my thing. And just kind of casually off the cuff, was like, yeah, this is my thing. I said, so this is your event. He goes, yeah. So I didn't even know he was into that stuff. But Bob's got his hands in a little bit of everything, and I appreciate what he does. You said the production. You said the crowd. Tell me about the crowd. The crowd was pretty hot and had a nice sized crowd for the event.
Yeah, to me, if you have 2 people show up, it's crowd. But it was one of those where you carry your own seats for outside seating.
Oh,
and the fans got as close together and around that ring as they could.
Gotcha.
But like you said, Bob runs such an amazing show. To me, away from like the crowd, everything is I admire Bob because he has what even we would have liked, where his wrestlers help set up the ring, they help put everything together. They are the most respectful people, and let me tell you, they respect Bob.
Yeah. Well,
And that
I mean, that's good.
impresses me.
That's very important that that they're actually doing that, because that's, of course, as some of us who've been around a while know, that was part of paying your dues. You get in there and you do ring work and tear up, set up, break down the whole ride, and so that's good. He's got those guys doing that.
We had those that ducked out before they were gone before we even knew it. And like I said, his production from start to finish is phenomenal, because I know what all he put into it, and Lord, he's working his butt to death.
Yeah.
And he got in the ring. He's going to be, he got challenged, and he's going to put the boots back on.
Oh, wow.
For a show, I think next month I'll know a little more about it. But I was going to try to talk to him afterwards and just get him to summarize it all.
Yeah.
But getting Bob away from everybody, he's like freaking mobbed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know he's got a lot going on. He's kind of like me. He's a one-man production team. Although I know he has a lot of people that helps him out down there and get to make that thing what it is. And I'd like to get down at some point and check out one of his shows. I don't think I've ever been to a Keller show. I know, like I said, and Chastain and I we'll talk about it a little bit. But he did our last brought the cage down for the last Christmas for Kids show that we did, and I was all happy that we were able to bring a cage out, because I don't. And Ricky can correct me if I'm wrong when I get to him. I don't think there was ever a cage that had been brought to Lawrence before that, and so I was always kind of.
I don't know if I'd ever seen a cage until Bob brought it to Lawrence.
To that last show, yeah. I don't think that there was. I know they did a few shows before I came back on the scene in 2008. But we'll ask the big boss when he gets on here in a little bit and find out if we are correct. Well, I think we are, but we'll make sure.
Well, before you let me go,
yeah.
I'm gonna let shout out to some of the shows coming up tonight. Tonight is Action Packed Wrestling in Chester. It is $10 to get in. It's on Helen Street. That's where Luke Fury, Christopher Prince, Chase Emery is tonight. Tomorrow night in Lancaster is that Boogie Woogie's Last Dance. He's hanging up the boots.
Yeah.
He's like, what, 73, 75?
He's 83.
83?
Yeah, he's 83.
NAWA's putting that on, and it's only $10, and it's in Lancaster at Buford High School. George South, Deion Johnson, Chase Emery again. And I mean, if I'd like to travel, that would be a great. I mean, this is his final show. To me, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well,
I did get some people even reach out to me about coming to their shows, extending Randy, Chad Jones, I guess is Randy,
Randy Wayne.
Heroes to Legends.
Yep.
His son is doing his first match on May the 2nd in Sylva, North Carolina.
Yep.
So that's pretty exciting. And you've got the Universal Championship Wrestling on Friday, May the 15th at Anderson Mall. 3 count on Saturday, May the 16th at Calvary First Baptist Church. And these people have extended, even reaching out to me, and it's really nice what you're doing, and it's given a chance to give them a shout out for their shows coming up.
Well, good, and that's.
But I do want to definitely appreciation to Bob and Carrie Keller, because I've known them for many years, and I even got to see the new grandbaby, so it's really nice.
Yeah, good people. I mean, Bob's always been good to me. I mean, I know, just like all of us, people have varying opinions of everybody, and but Bob's always been good to me. I don't have a bad word to say about him. and I appreciate
He's been great to me.
I appreciate what he does. But I want to go back to the thing you said about people inviting you to shows and stuff. Look, that's what this is about. That's why I got into this. I want to promote good independent wrestling, and there's a lot of it out there. You just ran down 5 upcoming shows just here in the next few weeks. I mean, that's
why I said it. I like to go. I don't the crowd, the whatever. I like the idea of this me getting to go see people I know and them letting me know that people I know from the years past. Plus, you've got like Luke Fury, the younger talent, giving them a boost into Gage doing his first match.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, this really is a definite helping out the new ones coming up and getting to see Dion and some of them from the old times. Thomas, people I hadn't seen in years.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and I, there are various reasons why I would actually like to. Some shows I don't really, but there are a lot that I would like to actually get out there too. But it just,
Keller show's a definitely fun show because he makes you laugh no matter what.
Yeah, I definitely want to get out to some of these shows myself and do a little live broadcasting from a couple of shows. But we'll see where that goes in the future. But I appreciate what you're doing. I mean, I like having this segment because I really do want to get the word out about some of these indie shows because I will tell you when you were with us back in the days, I mean, it was hard to find a show without, like, you do a few around here, maybe for SCW, for Cowboy or Jim, and then the next closest thing would be North Carolina, Virginia. I mean, there was just not a local lot of indie stuff going on back in the day. So it's cool that they're getting to get out there and do their thing at different places.
Well, that's why I feel like I put it more on that between Greenville, South Carolina, Anderson, and Spartanburg, you've got within a 30-mile radius, there is an independent show.
Yeah.
Go to it.
Yeah.
Support it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And say what you will about indies and that type of stuff, but I mean, that's where everybody come up through. I mean, not so much now because of the way the top WWE and stuff do their business. It's a little bit different how to get in now, but I know from the back in the day that was the only way you got in was you just had to go out there and apply your craft. And it's good to see the kids are out there still doing it. They're out there working hard and trying to get through. So and I want to be clear here too. I never blamed the wrestlers for a bad house, right? I blame the promoter. I feel like that's 100% on the promoter's shoulders, whether or not that house is full. And they'll give you, the old way, well, at least we got a band contest tonight, or we got football, or we got. No, if you being a promoter, there's a lot of pre-planning, right? And so the guys who are out there who get it, like Keller and certain other ones, I just appreciate what they're doing and how they get out there and promote their shows and fill those houses because that it's important.
Well, the
as
wrestlers
a young wrestler,
should be bringing people in too.
I agree,
but they not walk in the towns like you and Mickey Free and Brody Chase did, where y'all went down with your fanny packs and walked door to door.
Yeah, no, that's the thing of the past. And but I, you're right that they should be doing their part to get the word out about the show. But I don't blame them if the house is down as much as I would put more of the blame on the promoter than I would the wrestler. You all promoted your shows. I mean, you went business to business. Yeah. Well, and that's another thing Ricky and I'll talk about when I get him on in a few minutes is what he and I did, and it's phenomenal the amount of work. I mean, we together put in a lot of hours on that thing, but he was. We'll talk about it when I get him on. But he always impressed me with his dedication to that thing. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So. Tell me again when the big gathering is because I keep forgetting about it. I want to make sure that it's not till the end of July. So okay. All right, so we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. One good thing about the independent shows isn't just the newer talent. You've got Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton coming to them. You've got Buff Bagwell. You've got who did I see the other week? It was Brock Anderson and his son Arn Anderson and his son Brock. Yeah, Arn and Brock. Yeah, you get to meet talent from
the days when you couldn't get sometimes to the show, and now that I've understood how expensive it is for a big show, you can go now visit with these guys that are gracing the independent circuit.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, you brought up Chase Emery a couple of times. I'm hearing good things about him. I know Kerry Morton is ripping it up out there. I watched some of his stuff, and I was blown away at his talent. I mean, that kid, whatever it is, that kid's got it. And of course, he gets it honest from his dad.
Was he 10 at your show?
Yeah, yeah, if that, yeah. Well, yeah, because it's been 10
years
ago.
He don't look 10 no more.
Yeah, our last show was 10 years ago, so yeah, he would have been, if he's 20 now, then yeah. But he's a phenomenal talent, and just watching him come up is astonishing. But again, he gets it honest from his dad, the best babyface in the history of this business. So good on you, Lace. Thank you again for doing this. I appreciate you. We'll do it again next week as always. And you got any last parting words before I kick you out of here?
Nope, you can boot me on out. I had a great time at the Keller show, and I had a great time at 3 Count when I went there, and I'll just keep a running of what's going on for everybody.
Well, appreciate that. Anybody wants to contact Lace, you can contact her at her Facebook page, Lacey Gwynn, or Lacey as always. She's on Facebook all the time doing her thing, and she's always out there. And I'm glad to see her still out moving and grooving. And that's why we gave her this segment, because she's out there, man. She's doing the things that I just flat out can't do. So I do appreciate you for what you do. If you'll do me a favor for the rest, if you're going to hang around the rest of the show, Lace.
I'm going to just watch it.
Yeah, that's fine. But can you
want me to hang around?
Well, no, I just wanted to make sure that you could monitor the Facebook chat, because I got 4 other chats going here that I'm trying to monitor, and I have to keep dipping in and out of the Facebook.
Okay.
One. So if you can
monitor
that one,
the chat.
Yeah, just monitor that one, and anything I need to know about, shoot me. Just let me know. All right, that's gonna do it for Lacey's segment. Thank you so much again to the lovely and talented Lace for popping in here and making it does what it does. Gonna take a short, literally 30-second break so I can bring the boss in here. We're going to talk to him next. Ricky Chastain, former sheriff of Lawrence County, and good friend of mine. We're going to talk, and we're going to reminisce, and we're going to talk all about Christmas for kids and what it meant to me, what it meant to him, and what it meant to the fans. And that'll be coming up right here next as we continue rolling on Regalwood Rasslin. All right, back here on Regalwood Rasslin, episode 6. Making it do what it do on a, what's today? Today is a Friday, end of the week for the Regalwood Rasslin episode 6. It is the 26th day of April, 2026 in the year of our, 24th day of April. Trying to get ahead of myself. Trying to jump ahead to Sunday already. We don't want to do that. We certainly don't want to do that. All right, my next guest. Friend of mine, known him since many moons ago. We actually started our careers in our real jobs at about the same time, and I moved away, came back, and he was gracious enough. By that time, he had moved up to being the sheriff of Lawrence County, and by that time, he was gracious enough when I was ready to come back in 2008, and gave me a job. He gave me my way back into the business, that the only other business that I ever loved other than wrestling, and that was law enforcement, for those of you who know. And I've always I owe him a great depth of gratitude for that. But in 2008, I came back and I knew that he had done some wrestling shows, and of course he came up because he knew that I had a somewhat of a little success in it back in the day, and we talked about it, and from that was born our version of the Christmas for Kids events. But we'll get into all of that stuff as we move forward. But right now, welcome to the program, my friend Ricky Chastain. Ricky, how you doing, man?
Great, and you?
I'm doing good, brothers. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you probably in, I don't know what, maybe a couple of years it's been since last time we actually saw each other.
It's been a while for sure.
Been a while. We stay in touch. We text periodically, and when things that pop up that we have coming on, we'll text each other. Sometimes we'll get on the phone and talk. And but anything that I do in wrestling right now, it always comes back to Christmas for Kids, because I will tell you, not only did you give me, Cruiser Lewis is in the chat, and he says, boo, Chastain. Yeah, Cruiser's he's always fun. Thanks for joining me today, Cruiser. He's in the chat there. He says, boo, Chastain. But it's always, you not only did you give me a second run in my real life job, you actually gave me my second run in wrestling, and because I had walked away from it. I was done. You know, I had moved on to other things. I was had even gotten out of the real job for a long time, doing other private security and stuff. But all that was in my past, you know, and I had made a decision that I needed to get back into the only real thing I knew how to do, which was, of course, law enforcement. And just reached out on a whim, and you were gracious enough to help me back into that. But and so I don't know if I've ever told you, but I do want to tell you right now publicly, thank you so much for not only giving me a way back into my real job, but also giving me another run in wrestling, and I will always be indebted in gratitude to you for that. Just wanted you to know that. Giving you your flowers.
I appreciate that, but the same holds true for you. You really meant a lot to the sheriff's office and to the Christmas for Kids program, and your talent made it such a success, and as well as far as giving you accolades for your investigative abilities and your law enforcement abilities. I mean, you.
Oh no, we lost him. You would know that when I'm getting put over, we lose him. Right as I'm getting put over large, we lose him. We dropped him. So I don't know what happened. Let me see if technical difficulties are the only way we roll here. Let me see if I can just shoot him a text real quick. That's just my luck, you know. I get put over large, and all of a sudden, gone. Just that, just that quick. Well, let me see what he's saying here. He's texting me back real quick. I still have his scene open, but I don't see. He just dropped out there. So let's see if we can. Says he can hear me, but I can't see you or hear you, boss. So I don't know. Maybe you need to drop out and drop back in. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna close out the Lace, you talk him through it while I go back to something else. All right. So we're gonna try to get him back in there. He may have to dip out and drop back in. While we're waiting on Ricky to rejoin, just want to take a quick look here at the very first show we did together was in 2008. And there's a little clip here. I don't know if some of y'all know Big Daddy Z. We brought him in to be a part of it. So this is just a short, really quick 2-minute clip of the event we did in 2008. Shouldn't be any copyright violations. So we're going to take a look at that. This is, again, the very first Christmas for Kids that I was involved in Lawrence County for the sheriff's office there. And I think we may have. Yeah, I see. All right, but while we're making sure he's good to go, let's take a quick look at this little short clip, and I'm sure Ricky back in the production room there. Take a look at this. This is a from 2008. The first, like I said, benefit I was involved in, and this is kind of how that went. That's a big Z right there. Oh, big chest shot from the big man, Regal. Cruiser Lewis in the ring. Cruiser with the big boots. Oh, here comes Chastain with the big comeback. Big body slam on the Cruiser Lewis from Chastain. Oh, and of course, he attacks me from behind. Look at him. Power slam. Oh, and a big spotlight right here in the middle of the... Oh, a big double knocker. And of course, Regal takes the 1, 2, 3. Fun stuff. I tell you, get out of there.
Tully Blanchard Enterprise.
And as the administrator.
We don't need that. So yeah, I'm all over the place. Look at what you talk about technical difficulties. All right, let's get it back here. Stand by. Let me get. Good Lord, it's a comedy of errors, is what it is. All right, let me see if I can get a friend back in here. No, that is not right. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Okay, y'all get to see all the screens jumping around. All right, Ricky, can you hear me now? Are we good? Okay.
Yeah, I
right.
got you.
Gotcha. All right. So that was. Were you able to see the clip there in the production room?
I was.
Okay.
I was able to see our first defeat of you.
I said on here a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about something else, but as, like I said, as always, the Christmas for Kids stuff comes up, and I was talking about getting certain things over and how we were always successful. Thank goodness we always were successful in promoting that show. But I said, hey, look, I'm like the reverse Undertaker. I'm 0-10 at Christmas for Kids events. Never won one match at Christmas, but we remained somehow successful when we drew that thing. And again, that goes to your compassion and passion for that thing. So what a lot of people may not know, and I know you told me the story a couple of times, but I never get tired of hearing it. What a lot of people might not know, Ricky, is how Christmas for Kids became a thing. Because it didn't start out as a big wrestling event or a big haunted house. It started out as something entirely different. So tell everybody who might not know what that's about.
In 1999, when I was working for the sheriff's office, I was the training officer, and I was also doing something for the kids in the community. So we didn't have anything much. So I remember going around to places, and Walmart Distribution Center was probably the greatest asset that I ran into. They donated money and stuff from the distribution center to give the kids. And we started out buying bicycles or getting bicycles that were being thrown away, and we were refurbishing them. Had the trustees that were there at the back then at the small jail, everybody was there. So the trustees, I would put them to work refurbishing them. My father-in-law, he was magistrate down here in Clinton, so he had a hardware store too. So he had a bunch of bicycle parts. So I was able to scavenge a bunch of stuff from him, and it just grew into a bunch of bikes, and then fruit baskets and stuff. And then we had a delivery. People jumped on board. It was just a great event. And so when I got the money, I went to put it in the bank, and they said, "Well, what do you want to put it on?" And I was like, "Well, it's Christmas for Kids." So that's how the name actually came about, was when I went to deposit the donations to the bank so I could write checks for equipment and stuff that we needed to fix the bikes as Christmas for Kids. And so in 2001, I met Paul Helms. He's had a wrestling down in Joanna.
Yep, Cowboy.
And Cowboy. We got to talking, and of course he was always big into fundraisers stuff, and he came up with the idea of, hey, well, why don't we do one for a benefit for the sheriff's office? And I said, well, what about the Christmas for Kids? So that's how the wrestling started from that, and that actually just made everything just explode as far as being able to get contributions and the notoriety of the program that we had, getting people to help and everything. So that was the original start, humble beginnings of taking old bicycles that nobody wanted anymore and putting new inner tubes in them and painting them up and getting some helmets from Walmart distribution and handing them out to the kids for Christmas.
Yeah, I just, that to me, that's still just phenomenal that just from a kernel of an idea that you had, and really just to make sure kids had something, because there's a lot of kids in that community that were going without, and just you seeing that and recognizing that and then taking the initiative to do something about it is just, that tells me who your heart is, man. And I was always so proud of you for that, and proud to be a part of it. And from, like I said, from that just little nugget of an idea, just fixing up bikes, to what it became. I mean, I would always say we worked hard all throughout the year, of course, at the job, but the hardest we worked, but the most passionate, was those last 4 months of the year. Because we would start promoting stuff in August that would run all the way out to December, because it ended up from just putting together a bicycle, it turned into a haunted house. It turned into bike, motorcycle rides,
horses, motorcycle rides. It just, like I said, it just grew, and if it was people like you and other of the staff that actually made it possible. I got a lot of the credit, but y'all worked and your hearts were in it. I remember one year we were delivering stuff to the families. A lady had custody of her 2 grandchildren, and we carried some stuff up there. She basically just asked for stuff like underwear and socks and stuff like that. So we carried that stuff. And I remember went in, and they didn't have a tree, and y'all said, well, let's just go get the tree from the office. So we went and took our own tree from the sheriff's office, took it down and carried it back and put it in her house. And stuff like that, just speaks volumes to the people like you that really care about our community.
Well, again, you were there to make it happen and to be the heart and the soul behind it, and I was just happy to be a part of it. So the wrestling you started, you said, with Cowboy in 2001, and those ran. I was away. I was in another part of the state when that started. But I'd heard about it because I always have connections here and all that, and I'd heard about it. Tell me about some, because I was not involved in any of those first 8 or 7 events. Tell me about how they went and kind of how all that went back then.
Well, our first one was actually in December of 2002. We, like I said, I'd never wrestled or anything, so I started going up there of an evening and night and working with Cowboy and at his place in Joanna. And it's amazing. The first couple of years, was Ricky's as well. Rick Dreamer was my first match with,
Yeah.
with Rick Dreamer, and
Yep.
it was a great match, and we loved. I remember Cowboy saying he thought I broke my neck when I was training, trying to do those sunset flips, and I tried to cut a flip over and landed straight on the top of my head. But it was great. And then I got into a little bit with Ricky Storm and ended up beating him and got to get his hair cut in the bank. In the meantime, he put his hair up against my job. So
Did
uh,
Cowboy promote those first several years?
he did.
Yeah.
He did. He did. And Betty and Buford Bolt. I mean, those three worked hard to make them what they were back then. And not only did they do that for Christmas for Kids, but they were always doing something for if somebody was sick or down and out. They were putting on events and stuff to try to help out the community as well.
Yeah. So why wrestling? Were you a wrestling fan? I mean, had you been like involved in any before this, or did you just a fan and just thought, well, let's try
Uh,
this?
well, I like wrestling, and actually, how it came about was Cowboy and them were doing a fundraiser for a young boy down in Joanna area. So I went by to contribute and to be there for the show and to show my support. And that's when after the show was over, that's when we got to talking about doing something uh, for the sheriff's office and Christmas for Kids. And I'm like, well, I'll try anything. So ended up getting in there, and like I said, I worked hard at it for a few months there before the first show to make sure I didn't get myself killed, and it was great. And but yeah, I always enjoyed wrestling. I liked wrestling. I was more like with the old school Ricky Morton and the Rock and Roll Express and all of them. I can remember my daddy and my uncle taking me when I was a little boy when they used to come to Greenwood, or you had at the Greenville Memorial Auditorium, then going up there to see that. And then even when I went to work at the sheriff's office, we always watched a little wrestling. With some of us would get the pay-per-view and come to my house and watch the pay-per-views that they would do a lot as well.
Yeah, it was just because I don't think I'm aware of anybody else ever doing fundraisers such as that. I know there've been some that have taken, and some Lace brought up Randy Wayne a little earlier. Chad Jones, he was on the show, and I think in episode 2 or 3, I interviewed him, and he even said as part of he's doing a sort of a fundraiser now in the place that he lives for that local. I think it's the sheriff's office too, and he said he basically just patterned his thing after hours. So I always took that as kind of a tremendous sign of respect that that they saw the vision and have sort of carried it on. I had always hoped that we would be able to carry ours on in some fashion after 16, but just up to now it just hadn't been meant to be. But I will tell you, as a matter of fact, and I know you know this too, a lot of people look forward to that. I mean, a lot of people would plan their holiday season around that thing. It was a big deal, and Wanda, who is also she was a big help to those shows, she even says in chat that the shows were always like a family reunion, and they were, because we would have people come in and that we hadn't seen in a long time, and be a part of that and help out, and it gave a lot of people, I think it motivated a lot of people to do better, because there wasn't a lot of successful independents back then around here that I know of, and we would always come in and just blow everything away, and everybody was like, well, you only do one show a year. That's right. That's all we needed to do, because it was so successful. And then of course we had a couple of offshoots that we would do, like in the summer. I know we did we did one for VFW one time, and for the what was it, the wristband things for the sheriff's office. People might not know about that too.
The Lawrence County Disabilities and Special Needs Board, and like you said again, the wristbands to help people with dementia or autism that may wander off, so we would be able to track them. So that money went to buy those bands so that the families wouldn't have to be burdened with that expense, as well as having to contend with dealing with their loved one in the situation that they may be in.
Yeah, and I really don't think a lot of people understand, that a lot of that every show we did was for a benefit. There was none of it was went into any kind of to benefit anybody but the charity, or whatever, like you said, for the
Right.
wristbands or for the disability special needs board and all that stuff. So I mean, it was I felt like it was always very ahead of its time because nobody else was doing that. And then when you tacked on the other events that we did, like I said, the haunted jail and it was always a blast for me to do that haunted jail. And then
Yeah.
and then when we moved forward with the wrestling stuff, and we were actually out there filming to coincide, like we were film vignettes of my group coming to attack you that would kind of all intertwine. It was just so fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I mean, that was so great how all these fundraisers, and we could wrap them in together with the haunted jail, and like you say, you crashing the haunted jail looking for me, and then you had Mike Payne going crazy as well, and the Chainsaw Man, and all that was meshed in together, just building up for the Christmas for Kids. It was just fun. I know we got a lot of heat sometimes, and maybe some ridicule for some people that maybe didn't think that we should be doing it. But in my mind, and in the people that were doing it, as long as we were doing it and helping somebody, people gonna talk regardless of what you're doing anyway. If it's right, let's do it, and just don't worry about what people may say, or because you can't make people happy, all the people, anytime.
Yeah, and I never look, and you're right. I get it that people are going to have something to say. You could cure cancer, and somebody say, "Well, why didn't you cure it sooner?" You're never going to, you're never going to please everybody. But it was always interesting to me that some of the blowback that we would get about those things was so just petty almost. You know what I mean? But I remember one year, and again, from the humble beginnings of just putting together bicycles, I remember one year we did a video to where we were actually walking through that old jail, and the entire building, not just a room, not just 2 rooms, the entire building from one end to the other was stacked floor to ceiling with boxes that were going to go out to needy families. And I don't know how anybody could have anything bad to say about that, because it was literally doing the Lord's work. And I don't know, I've never seen anything like it. I'm there, right? I'm there, and of course we're shooting the wrestling stuff, but we're cutting other videos for promotional stuff just about the thing, and I'm the camera guy, right? And you're walking and talking about, look, this is what we have, this is what we've done this year, and as I'm filming that, I'm just mentally blown away that look at this. And I know it had to affect you, because again, coming from that humble beginning to that, what was going through your mind? I mean, were you thinking this is more than I ever dreamed it would be?
It definitely was. I had no idea when we were rounding up bicycles and trying to get them ready for kids, and just struggling to get stuff, and thankful for what we got, that 15 years later it would be something of that magnitude, and able to help so many more people. I mean, there were so many families and stuff that we were able to help, and not only people may not even realize it, not just children, but seniors and others that were in need at the time. Because I can remember we had the fund set up and all, and there was an elderly lady. She was about to lose her house, lose her car, and everything, and we were able to help her, to allow her to be able to stay in her home and be able to drive for another month. And it wasn't because she just didn't want to work. She'd worked all her life, and she was just didn't have it coming in. Her medicines was taking up all of her money, and she needed help. So we were able to help her too. And stuff like that regardless of whatever, comes in the future, I'm so proud of what we were able to do together for people in our county.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just I don't know. It was a moment in time that in those almost 10 years that we did that, it was just so it was rough. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say it was it was everything was perfect, because I remember nights, Ricky, and you were there with me. I remember nights that we would spend like the entire week of the show. We always ran that show the first the first Friday of
December.
December. Yeah. That was always the date of the show. Sometimes it would run last of November, but it was always the first Friday before the first Saturday of December, because that's when all the Christmas parades and stuff were. So I wanted to get that show in first, kind of kick off the holiday season. And but we would take a week to get that building ready, because we cared that much that we wanted it to be as much of a production. And I always said in my when I would talk about it, it was I wanted it to be an event, not just another wrestling show. I wanted it to have that event feeling, that I can't miss feeling, and I feel like we succeeded in that. But I remember nights that I would look around, we'd be in there late into the evening, and I would look around, it would just be me and you in there, still working, and and because that's how much it meant to us, and that's we, of course, and I'm not saying we did everything. Please don't take me wrong, because there was a lot of staff there that helped out, especially on show night. I mean, they showed out for us on show night. But I just remember there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that went into that we did, man. And I just remember I'd be sitting there, and you'd still be, just still going at it hard at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, bro, I'm tired. We gotta, but we would get it done. And again, it just goes to your drive and your love for that cause.
Yeah, busy week, and we'd be there late Friday night, taking up all the chairs, cleaning up, getting everything back to the office and all, and then turn around and be at the parades the next morning. It was just a whirlwind, and then just kicking off, getting ready to get all the stuff together. So it was a busy time, but it was like you say, well worth it and very rewarding.
It was very rewarding, and again, I'll look back on that whole series of shows with a lot of fondness. I remember we'd get up, you and I would get up early in the morning. We'd be up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, going to Greenville to do news, Channel 4 to do promotion for that thing, and nobody was doing that then. Not to say that it hadn't been done before, but nobody at that time in this area was doing that. And that again, I think that goes to why those shows were so successful. And of course, bringing in big name talent. I was talking to you the other day when we were setting this interview up. I was talking to you the other day, and it's phenomenal to me. I had forgotten some of the talent that we used on those shows, and I grew up a super fan of Bobby Eaton, right? Of course, we've lost Bobby in the intervening years, but I was a super fan of it, and I had forgotten that Bobby was on one of our shows. There's so much talent came through the Laurens, man, for those Christopher Kids shows, and Ron Simmons and Ricky Morton and Gunner from TNA and WWE, and just it was just so many, and of course a lot of local talent came through there, and I just, man, it was just I don't know that show and those series of shows and that 10-year period gets the love it should, but I'm telling you, I will be a torchbearer for that thing for the rest of my life. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was an awesome time.
We did a lot of our first one, that clip I just showed was in 2008. We brought in. Did we have any names on that show? I don't remember. I don't remember what the card was. I just remember it was a tag team there at the Main.
Yeah, I'm not sure who all was there that night. I just remember Big Daddy Z in my corner.
Yeah.
Bringing in the big man for the big man. And then Cruiser, I know he's listening, but he got what he deserved that night too, when Big Daddy Z got him.
Well, I just wanted to point out something very, very particular in that match. You attacked me from behind, and if you watch the clip, Chastain, You were always coming at me, attacking me from behind because
But you've been saying that so much. You're like the boy that cries wolf. How it's always somebody else that done
it's
something.
always somebody else's fault. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, look, I
Yeah.
want to. I don't know how we could do it. I don't know if there's even a way, and that maybe not even do a show, but maybe it's like I would like to do some sort of reunion thing. Is there anything that we could come up? Because I don't want it just to be lost to the ages. You know, I mean, of course the videos are all out there, and there's full show. I have a lot of full shows on my channel. I know you do on your channel also on what is it, Ricky Chastain on YouTube? Is that the name of your channel? But he's got a ton of videos on his. I got a ton of video on Wrestle Radio 860. But is there something? I mean, I had Brody Chase on last week. I know Brody, great guy. He worked some of our shows in Lawrence. Had him on last week, and we need to get that bunch together and just kind of, if nothing else, just sit down for a nice meal and just have a good reminisce time and show love for what that thing was, man. Because I think we need to. What do you think?
I think it would be great. I think just get together for a reunion, or if we could pull it off, pull out one more event.
Well,
I don't know if I can wrestle anymore, but I can manage. I believe I could pick a guy that could beat your guy any day. I believe.
I would have to. I think the in-ring stuff for me is definitely a thing of the past. But I'm like Bobby Heenan said one time. I won't manage, but I might coach. You know. But who knows?
Right.
I think it would be fun. We were talking about Keller earlier. I don't know. There may be something there. Don't want to give anybody any. We're not saying we're going to do it, but you know, there's a potential.
Right.
Let's just say there's potential.
Exactly.
Something may.
But a reunion with all the guys that we've wrestled with over the years, that would be great. I would love to catch up with some of them because, you know, not only did they wrestle with us, but they became my friends along the way, and they, you know, hats off to the wrestlers too. I mean, they donated their time, volunteered. Cruiser be bringing that ring in from all over the place, setting it up.
Absolutely.
So hats off to those guys. They really come out and show out as well for something to help the community.
I'm glad you said that, Ricky, because you're right. Those shows wasn't just about you and me. We, of course, we did our part, but you're right, and to give everybody their flowers. The promoters that came in to help book talent. We had David Cody. We had Witzel was in a couple of those. Who else? Boomer and Bryce. They helped. Thomas Simpson. So we had a lot of folks that would come in and help us and bring in a lot of great talent. And then of course we had with the names that would come, Ron Simmons, and just, the list goes on, man. And you're right. They all were a part of something very special, and I just hope everybody understands how special that thing was and still is. And again, and I don't know about you. You were out in the public a good bit too. Do people still come up to you and talk about it?
They do. So I have people all the time telling me that they miss that wrestling shows. They wish that we still had it, especially when it gets time around Christmas. They get to thinking because it became a tradition. And let's not forget about Lace. She was in the ring always as well with somebody, or announcing, or bringing somebody into the ring.
Yeah, no, everybody was a big help. Lace was a huge help. Cruiser. A lot of people don't know. I'll give a little behind the scenes on Cruiser. A lot of people don't know Cruiser has he's not just the ring guy. I mean, Cruiser has a tremendous mind for the wrestling business. He's been around. The length of time he's been around is a testament to that. But we had something that we'll talk about it another time. But we had something happen at one of the shows where Cruiser had to step up and step into that leadership role backstage. And I'd never seen Cruiser do that before. And but he jumped up there, man, and he took the reins of that thing. And I was always super proud of Cruiser for that. So give Cruiser his flowers too. He's one of the ones that I could always depend on, and knew that if he was in the back, we were going to be okay, because he's a general too. And you need strong generals like that in the back and out in front, like Lace, who's a big personality. And Bill Hazelwood, I had him on a couple of weeks ago to talk, and he was still putting over the Christmas for Kids show. So I guess the main reason I wanted you on here, Cruiser says 400 years. One of the main reasons I did want you on here though is if I haven't said it enough, or if it hadn't been said to you enough, man, just thank you. Thank you for all that you did as sheriff and as the founder and architect of Christmas for Kids. It means a lot and still means a lot to a lot of people. And it'll never be replaced. It'll never be redone, not to that level. And if I haven't said it enough, I wanted to make sure you know that I from the bottom of my heart greatly appreciate what you did, not only for me in wrestling but professionally, because if it hadn't been for you, I probably wouldn't have got back in this business those years ago. So God bless Ricky Chastain.
I think I got cut off when I was giving you accolades about acknowledging you as far as the type of officer you was, being able to work with the community and your investigative skills and all. You were a true asset to the sheriff's office as well as to our Christmas for Kids events every year. I mean, you done a lot that people will never know as far as helping them either with a case or with the Christmas for Kids shows.
Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you, and you are my friend, and you'll always be my friend, and I do appreciate everything you did, and especially for as in all capacities, man. You just really good time in my life, and I just wanted you to know I appreciate you. What Ricky and I have talked about, and we may do sort of, and depending, of course, on the length of how this show goes and how long it stays around, which is we're doing good. We're coming up, but I'd like to have Ricky on again, and we'd like, because we have a ton of shows. We have 10 years worth of shows, and we have video of most of those. So what we're thinking about doing is having maybe Ricky come in a couple times a year and just rewatch some of those events and kind of give some behind the scenes story, because I know my favorite of those shows was the 2011 one, right? Because that's the one we did the Boots versus Badge, and we had such a huge build up to that thing, and tons of videos we did, vignettes, bringing in different talent, and so what we're talking about doing is probably having a couple of those shows where we just kind of just watch the match and reminisce about it, and I think that'd be fun. So that's kind of where we're going forward. What do you think about that, boss?
It sounds good to me. There were some great shows. I'd love to relive them and talk about behind the scenes stuff that some of them might not know.
Might not know.
Not know how hard it is to actually break a table.
That's true. That's true. Lace has brought out her Chastain versus Regal shirt. I don't know if you see it there. The final conflict I guess that's the last one we did, wasn't it? Was that the last one we did? The final? No, that wasn't the last one.
Quite a few of them were our final conflict.
Tribute to the Troops. Now that was a good one too. Yeah. The Tribute to the Troops show was a great show. That one was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's why I think it'd be fun to get on and kind of reminisce and talk about some of those old shows, because there's
another one.
And the Social Society. Yeah, man, that was my crew. The ASS.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ricky, just want to say thank you for doing this, man. Taking time out of your day and coming on and being a part of the show. I really do appreciate. She's got a 2011 one. That's the Boots vs. Badge shirt right there. That's cool. That's good stuff. Wow. Lace keeps some. She'll keep some memorabilia now. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But thank you, my friend. Is anything you got going on you need the people to know about, or anything coming up that might be interesting?
Not just busy working right now, staying busy with the grandkids, and if I'm not doing that, got some extra work I'm doing around the house.
Gotcha. Well, that's good, man. It's good to see you. It's good to talk to you. And again, I appreciate you doing this. And we will definitely get together in the future and do some retrospective shows on those old Christmas for Kids events, because I just don't think they need to be lost to time. Appreciate you again, Ricky. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay, good talking to you.
You too, brother. All right, that's my good friend Ricky Chastain. I appreciate him for coming in today. just fun catching up and reminiscing on all those great shows. It was and I mean what I said. It was a time, a moment in time that I don't think can ever be replicated. And but it was a lot of fun and did a lot of good for a lot of people. Go take a quick break. Jump out real quickly, fill up my cup, and when we come back, we'll do a real quick WrestleMania review, and then we'll do the most ridiculous item of the day, and we'll wrap it up right here on episode 6 of Regalwood Rasslin. Stand by.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, if you get some of them that want to get together for a reunion or dinner, let me know. I'd be glad to jump in on that.
Oh, I like some dinner and food. That sounds good.
All right. All right. Thank you, Scott. Bye, Lace. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, back here on Regalwood Rasslin, episode 6. Good time having my friend Ricky back on, talking to him, catching up, reminiscing. Appreciate him doing that today. Like Leigh said earlier in the program, if you have anything you want us to promote or get over or talk about or even invite you on to be a guest on the program, contact either one of us. Let me know. Lacey Gwen and Lacey as always, and of course I'm Ricky Regal, RickkiRegal on Facebook. Shoot me a message or shoot me you can email me, rickyregal@gmail, RickkiRegal, rickyregal@gmail. Always looking for guests. The door's open to anybody. I mean, if you want to come be a part of the program, I'm happy to have you. We may not even share the same views on stuff, but I'm happy to have you in and happy to have give you the platform to come in and get your stuff and your shows and your events over. Because I mean, I said that earlier in the show. That's kind of what this is about. You know, I want to, no matter what my reputation may precede, I do want everybody to succeed and be successful. And having been successful in promoting shows like we just discussed, I mean, we would have close to 1,000 people in those buildings. So say what you will about the Regal Man, he can put some asses in some seats. So if you want to come in and discuss it or talk about whatever, doors open. I can't think of anybody that I would have on don't have on list, because I think if it's again controversy creating cash, if we don't see eye to eye and we're going to have differing opinions, I think that would be interesting. So the door's open. You know, reach out. Give me a shout. I'm constantly trying to book guests. I've reached out to a couple of people just this past week for future shows, and I'm thinking that's going to happen. One's certainly a legend. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But again, I know this is not everybody's cup of tea, and I know everybody's not going to be liking what we're doing here. But I think we're trying. And I'm not a professional. I don't write these shows. I've said that before. This is all kind of live and off the top of my head. I don't, you know, that's why it may not flow as smoothly as some other podcasts, but it ain't like, you know, it's not about that. It's about getting the word out and doing the thing. All right. Look, I don't need to do an entire WrestleMania review. We'll hit a couple of high spots. You know, it's been a week. You pretty much know what happened. So we'll real quick. Cody Rhodes retained against Randy Orton in the main event. Paige and Bree. This is night one. Paige and Bree take the tag titles. Becky Lynch defeated AJ Lee to become the Intercontinental female champion. Gunther defeated Seth Rollins with interference from the returning Braun Breaker, who I think that guy's a star. They need to just cut him loose and let him do the whole Steiner thing and be done with it, because he is he's a problem in a good way. So liking what he's doing. Liv Morgan taking the world's title from Steph Vacuer, whatever. Jimmy and Jay in LA Knight defeated Logan Paul, Show Speed, and Austin Theory in a 6-man. And Jacob defeated Drew McIntyre. Jacob Fatu. And then, of course, night 2, Obafemi? Is that? I don't. Not being. I don't. Oh, I guess Obafemi. I guess. Defeated Brock. Lots of question is whether Brock really retired or not. Was that a work? Was that a shoot? Was it an angle? You'll know when you know, right? It's everybody's got to know everything all the time. But I was brought up that if you left your boots in the ring, that was it. That's the way I was brought up. If you left your boots in the ring, that was it. But in the world of kayfabe-less wrestling, who knows, right? I would not expect Brock to be done, but one man's opinion. Penta retained his Intercontinental Championship in a 6-man ladder match against Javon Evans, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, J.D. McDonough, and Rusev. I will honestly say to you, I don't know 3 of the 4 of those names. But that's not, it's not saying I'm cooler than you. It's just I'm not as invested as maybe I once was, or should be probably to do a wrestling show. Whatever. Trick Williams defeated Sami Zayn to win the United States Championship. The Demon returns and beats Dominic in a street fight. Dominic Mysterio. Rhea Ripley defeated Jade Cargill. I guess that Jade is supposed to be a big deal. I don't personally. I have seen some of her work. Maybe in the future. Roman Reigns defeated CM Punk in the main to win the World Heavyweight Championship. So, the big news coming out of the thing again was Lesnar's retirement, right? We don't know. Them trying to push this Femi to the moon. We'll see how that goes. I mean, big guy. We'll see. I guess Bianca Belair revealed she was pregnant, which I guess is a big deal. And 50,000 in night 1 and a 2-night total of 106,722 fans. Look, man, we were talking about the ticket prices leading up to the big show, and apparently it didn't affect 106,000 people too badly. So whatever. There was one other thing before we get out of here, and I know I've been long-winded today, but there's one other thing that I found interesting this week. I'm not going to go over the entire thing, but one of the guys from TKO, President Mark Shapiro, the president of TKO, who of course now owns WWE, was speaking at a University of Alabama event, and he basically says that what you saw at WrestleMania is the blueprint going forward. I know there's been a lot of people talking about how many ads were in the show, and that out of a 4-hour show there was maybe an hour-ish of wrestling. But according to the president of the big company, he's saying that that's going to be the blueprint. They're going to have, push for more crossover appeal, more mainstream attention, and heavier investment in marketing, which would indicate more commercials, right? Hey, man. But then on the back end of that, I hear that there's Vince has risen again from like a phoenix from the ashes, and Vince is throwing out things to some Saudi investors, and maybe he's trying to get back in the game. Look, man, can you imagine Vince trying to come back into this with all that we now know about the Vinster? Hey, you know, stranger things, right? Stranger things. All right. Tell you what, let's do our most ridiculous item of the day. Or the week. I'm sorry, it's a weekly show. We don't do it daily here yet. But it's coming, maybe. Probably not. Most ridiculous item of the week will be also related to WrestleMania. And Baby Doll. You remember Baby Doll? She has gone on and has gotten upset because the wrestlers, I guess, are upset about what happened at the hotel after the big events, because they were staying in Vegas, right? And WWE security couldn't take over the security of the hotel, which is inside a casino. So therefore, there was a lot more fan interaction at the show. And now people are saying that's because of the ticket prices. The regular wrestling fan can't get in. So what do? They then swamp the hotels to get a moment with their favorite wrestler. And this is kind of what caused the controversy. It's about a minute long. I'm not going to play the entire thing because it gets kind of goofy at the end. But this is why Baby Doll's upset, and why the wrestlers are upset, and why everybody's upset with everything. Take a quick look.
Randy Orton! Randy Orton in.
Other stuff to do.
Randy Orton! All right! It's not the elevator. The elevator is over there. All right, man.
Since I directed you,
Oh!
Randy. Happy belated birthday.
WrestleMania, Randy Orton. Woo!
Oh my God.
Did you see the wrestler, man? See Randy Orton.
Oh, syllables there.
Wow.
So this guy right here, this glasses man here, I guess he's following Randy Orton around, and calling his name loudly to then bring further attention to Randy, who clearly is just trying to get to his room right after the thing. So that's what's caused some controversy this week is the how the fan, God Lord, get it together, kid. Is how the fans have been kind of took over the hotels, and but then Baby Doll takes a side opinion of that, and she says, what wrestler didn't get in wrestling to be famous? And to Baby Doll credit, she got a point. I remember when we first started, and I remember vividly Mickey Free saying, I just want to be famous. That was his mantra. His mantra was, I just want to be famous. For that very reason. So I kind of get what Baby Doll's saying. But I also understand that, you know, you can't just, the guy that was Randy Orton, right? Cool it, dude. You know, you chill with that. So there's two sides to every coin. I do think but that's why it made my ridiculous item of the week, is because the guy being a little over the top there, and it causing some further controversy. So their opinions are going to vary on everything. Yeah, I think the other thing was seeing Lacey says in the comments she thought it was another reason that Baby Doll was talking about. There was another incident where CM Punk slapped somebody's phone out of their hand because the guy was overreaching. And again, in the hotel, I think there was a moment between two of the women's wrestlers, and the guy was trying to get in and got into their space and was. There's a video of that too, but I can't be bothered to go look it up right now. But anyway, Punk slaps the guy's phone out of his hand. And I know you got to be a tough guy. I know you got to put that aura out there, but you might not want to. You're dealing with corporate entities now, right? Slapping phones out of people's hands is generate lawsuits. I will just tell you that as a matter of fact. And Punk knows that. But you know, I get that. I get that sometimes it can be annoying to be, you know, constantly asked for and followed around. But you know, it's part of the gig, brother. Kind of part of the gig. Kind of what you signed up for. And you know, as they say, it is what it is. All right. I'm Ricky Regal. I appreciate everybody who joined me today. Thanks again to my guest, Ricky Chastain, for coming in and having a little reminisce session about the great Christmas for Kids events. Thanks again to Lace for her weekly Ringside report. I appreciate you. And we'll do it again next week, probably next Thursday. It looks like this will be next week's show, but I'll give updates. If you're not out there on the socials, it is Ricky Regal everywhere. Just type R-I-K-K-I into R-I-K-K-I-R-E-G-A-L into your favorite search engine, and you'll learn more than you ever wanted to know. The YouTube channel is the Wrestle Radio 860, WRESTLERADIO 860 on YouTube at Wrestle Radio 860. Twitch, Regalwood 6969. Facebook, of course, Ricky Regal. I'm always there. Rumble and Kick, Regalwood, respectively. Again, you find this guy, you're in the right, by God, spot. It's going to do it for this week. Thank you again for everybody who joined me, and thank you all for who are watching the future. And